Rice feeds more people than any other grain on Earth. It is the primary caloric staple for much of Asia, South Asia, Latin America, and Sub-Saharan Africa, and it occupies a central role in the diets of hundreds of millions of people in the United States. From the rice bowls of Japanese-American households to the red beans and rice of Louisiana cuisine to the infant rice cereal that pediatricians have recommended as a first food for decades. It is also, by a considerable margin, one of the most efficient vehicles for delivering inorganic arsenic, a classified Group 1 human carcinogen, into the human body through the food supply. The mechanism behind rice's arsenic problem is specific to its cultivation conditions. Rice is grown in flooded paddies, where anaerobic soil conditions promote the conversion of arsenate to arsenite, a more water-soluble form that root systems absorb far more efficiently than other grains. Wheat, oats, and corn grown in non-flooded conditions absorb arsenic through different mechanisms and at substantially lower rates. This means that a person who substitutes rice-based products for wheat-based ones, as many do for gluten sensitivity, celiac disease, or dietary preference, may inadvertently be trading one perceived risk for a well-documented one. Gluten-free diets that rely heavily on rice flour, rice pasta, and rice-based snacks can produce arsenic exposures significantly higher than a standard wheat-based diet. The FDA has been monitoring arsenic levels in rice products for years and has proposed action levels specifically for infant rice cereal, a product category that received particular scrutiny after researchers and Congress drew attention to the vulnerability of developing nervous systems to arsenic exposure. The developing brain is not simply a smaller version of the adult brain in terms of toxicological vulnerability. Inorganic arsenic disrupts neurodevelopmental processes during critical windows of development in ways that can produce lasting IQ effects, attention deficits, and cognitive impairment, consequences that don't reverse when the exposure stops. The 2021 Congressional Subcommittee Report on Heavy Metals in Baby Food, which examined major commercial brands, found arsenic levels in rice-based products that the report characterized as posing measurable neurodevelopmental risk. For adults, the chronic exposure picture is linked to elevated rates of bladder cancer, lung cancer, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes in populations with high lifetime rice consumption, particularly when the rice is grown in historically arsenic-contaminated soil, as is the case in parts of Bangladesh, India, and the American South, where agricultural arsenic compounds were historically used as pesticides and have remained in the soil for generations. There are practical mitigation strategies that meaningfully reduce, though don't eliminate, arsenic exposure from rice. Washing rice thoroughly before cooking removes surface contamination. Cooking rice in a high water-to-rice ratio, 6 cups of water per 1 cup of rice, and draining the excess, rather than absorption cooking, removes approximately 30 to 40% of arsenic content compared to absorption methods. Parboiling rice before cooking provides additional reduction. Diversifying grain consumption to include oats, barley, quinoa, and wheat alongside rice rather than relying on rice as the exclusive grain is probably the single most effective strategy. The populations for whom this conversation carries the most weight, Asian and South Asian communities for whom rice is culturally non-negotiable, deserve culturally respectful guidance that acknowledges the risk without demanding that they abandon a dietary and cultural identity. Mitigation, not elimination, is the appropriate frame.